Episode 147. Today we recap the Dodgers series and preview the upcoming series against the Cubs. You're listening to the Bucco Bantr podcast, brought to you by the Just Baseball Media Network. Cue the music.
Rockin' 101s, yeah, she compliment my taste. Whiskey in my lemonade, cause I like the way it tastes. Best seats at the Pirates, can they let me run the base? Yeah, my time is like my money, cause I can't afford to waste. Wifey is a lawyer, take my date to my dates. Order steak by the plates, and in case after case, run my race at my pace, clear the grass of the snake.
Welcome back to another episode of Bucco Bantr. It is Sunday, April 27th. And we've got some West Coast baseball to recap. But first, Adam, we had a fun weekend. We had our first live show at Allegheny Coffee and Tea on Saturday. So excited to talk about that and the week ahead.
Yeah, before we get into it, go to Total Sports Enterprises for all of your Pittsburgh memorabilia needs, Pirates, Penguins, Steelers, and more. Right now, you can get a Skeens autographed 2024 NL Rookie of the Year jersey for 40% off on the website. And the Andrew McCutchen presale is still live. So go over to tseshop.com and go to the description of this episode on Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Click the link below to let them know that we sent you. The live show is awesome. That was for a first run of it, first time going, not knowing what to expect, going for an entire hour. It went pretty well.
Yeah, I almost, just a little bit behind the scenes, I suggested we don't go live the first time, kind of get a feel for it, like to know what it would be like dead space wise and like how many people we'd have asking questions and just want to get a feel for all that. And we just went live. We went live, we figured it out. And I thought it went really smooth, really well. And I'm really excited for that. We're going to usually do this every other Saturday, but the Pirates are home this weekend and it's supposed to be nicer out, I believe. So we're like, hey, let's start off our Saturday in the Strip District at Allegheny Coffee and Tea, get caffeinated, and talk Bucks baseball before we go to the ballpark. I think that'll be fun. After that, I'm assuming we'll probably be on an every other week schedule, but really awesome, man. Shout out to Allegheny Coffee and Tea. They were Eric, the owner. He's the man and really helped us out with everything we needed. And I thought it went really, really well.
Yeah, we got our Allegheny hats.
Yeah,
so I'm definitely going to be rocking that. I don't know if it's going to fit your big head,
dude. I tried, but
it might be cutting it close, man. But we're going to get a sign to put out where you can stop by and see that you can come and ask questions. I think the one thing that we didn't really plan for is when people walk by two guys recording, they usually don't want to step in and say something.
Yes.
So we're going to have a nice sign out there that says, come ask your Pirates question. You can stop by, give your question to Debo, our cameraman. He does everything behind the scenes. And then you can get on the podcast. And everybody that asked a question live this week got a free coffee. Yeah. Pretty good deal. Ask one question about the Pirates, go get a coffee at Allegheny Coffee and Tea.
And in my opinion, the best coffee in the Strip. And you know, we had a lot of people, like you said, walk by and they were checking us out, looking at, you know, what was going on. It was like, you know, people recording like in the heart of the Strip, talking about the Pirates, which was pretty cool. But when we get that sign out there and have people come by, we're going to probably get a lot more live questions. We got a lot of questions via the stream as well. But it was pretty cool, man. It was awesome because we both live in the Strip, and just to have that show like in our neighborhood and just in the heart of on Penn Avenue where all that foot traffic is, and just talking about the Bucks and drinking coffee. I think it was a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to that for the rest of the season.
You know what else I'm looking forward to?
What's that?
Not staying up till 1 a.m. watching Pirates baseball. I am so happy this West Coast trip is over, man. I said at the end of the Guardian series, which was a disaster, that the trip to the West Coast potentially could be, I said, horrendous.
Yes.
And it was fine. They took 2 of 3 in Anaheim. They lost 2 of 3 in LA.
Winning half the games out West.
Not bad.
I'm happy with it. I don't know, happy.
But like, let's hone in a little bit more just on the Dodgers series, because that's what we're here to talk about today. And then, of course, we'll preview the Cubs. Game 1, great. That's what you need to do on any Skeens start. He was dominant, maybe the most dominant I've seen him in a long time. I know he's been good this year. He hasn't had the Ks per nine as high as last year, but he's been very, very good at keeping guys off base. They're letting him pitch above 100 pitches pretty much per game. I like the confidence in that. Just let him go out there and eat. The boys backed him up. It wasn't a crazy offensive performance, but you got ahead early, and that's what happens. I remember like talking to you like, hey, this has an effect on a starting pitcher. When you're able to give a guy a lead early in the game, even if it's 1 or 2 runs, you pitch with a little bit more confidence, right? Game 2 was very winnable.
Yes.
Very, very winnable. And that's what frustrates me the most. Today, they got steamrolled. The Dodgers are clearly a better team in all aspects. 1 through 9. I mean, the rotation's gross. We are in our preview. You mentioned Glass now deals with injuries. Got injured today. Only pitched 1 inning. But game 2 is really where I want to focus on, at least when we're bantering at the beginning of this podcast, because they played a decent game 2. And they had it in the bag, but they didn't win in the margins, as we like to say. They made too many mistakes. And the bullpen, man, which has been very good, has 2 guys that we need to talk about. Maybe 3.
I think I know the 2 you're going to talk about. But...
So we're going to talk about Kyle Nicholas.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about Colin Holderman.
Yep.
I'm not going to talk as much about Carmen Mlodzinski because I want to talk about him more so. In fact, like we need him to be replacing one of those guys in the bullpen. Kyle Nicholas just doesn't have it right now. He needs to be sent to AAA. Like this is someone who has all the stuff in the world. If we're talking Mount Stuffmore, like you could put him up there. Like he's gross, dude. He's absolutely nasty, but he can't control where the ball is going. He has no command of the strike zone. He needs to work that out. Something needs to change. Colin Holderman's a whole nother story.
I think it's mental at this point.
It has to be mental because this is a guy who last year, up until the All-Star break, you could make an argument should have been an All-Star.
Yep.
And then he had a shaky month and a half, and then he finished decent. It wasn't as strong as the first half, but this year has been horrific. And the Phantom IL stint, I think, really needed to be treated as more of a Bednar situation. Hey, listen, you're not getting the job done. You were once a top dog in this bullpen. It's not working right now. We need to see you do it multiple times down in AAA, collect your bearings, and let's get after it. It wasn't treated like that. I don't know why. I know it was technically an IL stint, whatever. I don't believe it. I mean, that's just how I view the whole situation. Okay. But it's not like he went down to AAA on the rehab stint and lit it up.
No.
Right?
No.
He pitched, I think, like 1 2/3 in AAA and gave up a home run, which is exactly what he's doing at the big league level. He leaves everything middle. He has no control over where the ball is going. The slider isn't as great of a put away pitch as it was last year. What needs to happen here, Scott? Because we have answers in the organization, but we continue to throw them out there. And then here's where I was getting at. The main point is not only do you call him up, but you put him on the biggest stage in baseball at Dodger Stadium in a high leverage situation, in a close game that is very, very meaningful. You could potentially go win both series against a superior team in LA, and you throw a guy out there that you clearly don't have confidence in. Why are we putting him in that situation?
I would have argued for Bednar. The cure for him, especially last year, would have been dropping him from those high leverage roles and getting his confidence back in much lower leverage positions where he can go out there and not think too much, not worry about giving up a lead, not worry about blowing a game, and just pitching an inning up 8-0 or down 8-0. I don't know. Like pitching with a little bit less on the mind. With Holderman, I think it's extremely mental. I think he needs to spend more time in AAA. Like I think they could have utilized that IL stint as a reason to let him pitch it out in AAA for a month.
Yeah.
Similar to how they've done with Bednar. I think Bednar might be back. I wanna be careful saying that. But I think Bednar might be back, and I think what going down to AAA was really good for him. And I don't know what Holderman's contract. I don't know if he has options or what it looks like for him, but I think that might need to be done. I think they rushed this back. One and 2/3 innings. He had what, 2 appearances in AAA. I think they could have left him down there a little bit longer and let him throw at a level where he's not thinking much, where games don't matter. Not that they don't matter, but they don't, like, you're not at the major league level. You're not trying to win games. You're not trying to secure holds and saves and whatnot in the later innings. I think it's as simple as that. I really do.
He has 3 options remaining.
Yeah, I
on his
use
contract.
it. Use them. Use them with Nicholas.
Yeah.
Use them with Holderman. Replace one of them with Carmen Mlodzinski. Bring Burrows back.
Let Burrows take that 5th spot right now.
5th starter spot. And you're going to have to replace another reliever, unfortunately, because guess what? Justin Lawrence, we'll get into some other news. It's not looking good for him. He's getting a second opinion on that right elbow inflammation.
They already said it's going to be more than 15 days.
It's going to be more than 15 days, but it's sounding like he's going to be out for the season. So you got to get creative here, and you're not, and it's not a time to keep the Mlodzinski experiment alive. You've got to move him to the bullpen. You just have to.
I agree. Also, you have Holderman under control until 2029. This is a guy that you have a long-term investment in. It's not like you're paying him $4 million a year. You're paying him 1.5. He's in his arbitration years. I think that 1.5 number is probably going to be lower next year, all things considered, but let him figure it out. Like, he's not going anywhere. He's going to be part of this team for a minute. If you actually believe in him, like you say you do, and you keep throwing him out there, let's get it right. Let's not.
We've seen it. We've seen him at his peak. He's got the stuff. We know he can do it. But let's take the right steps here. Let's send him down to AAA. Let's let him figure it out. Let me ask you this. We'll talk about this more tomorrow on the Monday prospect episode. Braxton Ashcraft isn't lighting the world on fire as a starter in AAA.
Let him get, yeah. Yes.
Him and Mlodzinski, the stuff, man. I'm telling you, let's use these guys to their strengths right now. I think you could really take advantage of Ashcraft as a bullpen guy. He has not thrown over 75 innings in an entire season.
Correct.
You're not going to start him at the big league level. You're not going to stretch him out over 100 innings. Let's use him in the bullpen this year, and then stretch him out next year. I think it just makes too much sense at this point. It's like I'm almost feeling like I'm missing something here. It makes so much sense.
I know Ashcraft is a different prospect than Carmen Mlodzinski, but the reason Carmen Mlodzinski is a professional baseball player at the highest level right now is because they realized his stuff played up in short stints in the minor leagues, and they expedited him to get to the big leagues. That meant, hey, you're not a starter, but there's a role for you on a big league club. That could be the case with Braxton Ashcraft right now. Yeah, maybe down the road, he says, hey, I do want to start, and we explore that, and he might have a little bit more of a pedigree than Carmen Mlodzinski as a starter. But a good team in Major League Baseball has a guy like that, and they say, hey, maybe he's not lighting the world on fire right now as a starter, but we know that the stuff plays. So instead of throwing Kyle Nicholas out there, who cannot control anything at the moment, instead of throwing Colin Holderman out there, let's move Carmen back to the pen, and let's throw another guy out there who we know has stuff as a relief guy, who is not going to be overworked. You can go throw him out there for 20 pitches a game, if that, and he has the stuff to get outs. Let's go for it. You have 11 wins on the year. Let's do things that'll try and make this team better, and we're simply not doing that right now.
You talk about winning on the margins. I think now winning on the margins now, you have to more so now than ever, because you're out of 11 wins on the year, 18 losses. you can't afford to let these close games like game 2 in LA slip away anymore. This is where you got to utilize guys to their strengths. You gotta really win on those margins and take advantage of these situations. So let's put Parma in the bullpen. Let's maybe eventually call an Ashcraft up. Let's use guys in the best possible situation where we think they're going to win. With pitchers, being a former pitcher myself in college, like confidence is everything. Confidence and comfortability. Keep continuing to throw out Holderman and Nicholas in these situations is doing them no good, but also not doing your team any good. So I anticipate there being some changes. We got an off day tomorrow before they come home for a homestand. Anticipate there being some changes. At least I hope so, because I don't think you can continue with this current roster.
I agree. And it doesn't get much easier when they come back home. They got the Cubs, who have been playing well. Most of their games have just been absolutely drunk. I don't know if you've watched any of the Cubs games as of late. They're all wild.
Wild. And guess what, man? This is a team we could take advantage of. I know they're at the top of the Central, but bullpen is bad.
Then you have San Diego, who, again, is not playing to the tier that they probably want to be at, but this is a good baseball team.
They were at top of the West. I don't know if they still are, but they were at top of the West.
I know they've had some issues with the offense. And then you have St. Louis, and then the Braves come into town. So, and then you got the Mets, and then the Phillies. Like, it's going to be a long May. There's a lot of good teams that they play in May. And if you don't start making the right choices, it could get, I know it's bad, but it could get even worse.
And it's going to get to a point where like you're so much in a hole where you can't climb out of it enough to like really turn the season around. So got to make the changes now.
Absolutely. Real quick, some other headlines. Horwitz was assigned to Double-A Altoona. He's going to start his rehab assignment there. I think he went 1 for 3 on his first day back with a walk. Again, we talked about it on the live show. There's reinforcements coming. There's changes to be made. I like the way they hit the ball on the West Coast. Maybe some of the games didn't yield the best results, but I thought they hit the ball hard. I think they had some decent at-bats, but that's pretty much the news as of now. There's no real news on Nick Gonzalez. I asked Noah Hiles about a week ago what's going on, and there's nothing really. He's walking around in a boot. We don't know any timeline, but we do have a timeline for Spencer Horwitz. Let's get into the games. I'll get us kicked off. Friday, 3-0 was maybe the best skiing start we've seen in a long, long time. 6 1/3, 5 hits, no runs, no walks, 9 punchies. He has become elite at tunneling and using his misses to his advantage, to the point where I'm conditioned now when I see him miss a foot outside, I'm like, oh, he's doing that on purpose. Like, I really don't even think when he gets behind in counts that he's worried about it, because he goes, hey, I just missed a foot outside. Maybe I was trying to do that, because the very next pitch just looks the exact same and then paints the corner of the plate. It's outstanding stuff. And here's where it gets even better. He had 18 whiffs on the day, 9 on the four seam, 41% four seam usage on the day, 50% out of swing percentage on the splinker. Okay. Incredible stuff. And it was, I think, 8% contact rate on it. So you're generating a ton of swings out of the zone, and they're not touching it. Like, he was back to Skeens, missing bats, absolutely dominating. The stuff was gross. The bullpen looked good as well. Barucki cleaned up the rest of the 7th. Santana, 1 inning, 1 hit. Bednar looked very good. The RPM on the fastball and the curveball were 2 times what they were when he was struggling. Like, the curveball looked legitimate. 1 inning, 1 walk, 2 Ks. The offense, Cruz 1 for 4, 2 runs, 1 RBI, 1 walk. Valdez and Hayes had 2 2-out RBIs as a team, 7 Ks, 5 walks, 6 hits, 3 for 13 runners in scoring position, 7 left on base, 2 stolen bases, Cruz and Triolo, 1 error. Brian Reynolds misplayed a ball in right field. good at bats against Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Career high 5 walks for him on the day, which is crazy. He looked good, but you could tell he was getting frustrated out there because we weren't chasing. You're putting out competitive at bats, and they got ahead early and they took the dub. So thought it was going to go well after this.
Yeah. I thought this was a good start to. I mean, winning 4 of your first 5 games, or 3 of your first 4 games. Sorry, in out west. I thought, wow, let's win one more. Let's bring this home. Winning 4 of 6 out west. Saturday, they let one slip away. They lost 8-4. Mitch Keller pitched well, man, as he usually does. 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 6 Ks. He's a 3.97 ERA. Generated 6 whiffs this game. Caleb Ferguson, 1 inning, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk. His ERA is up to 2.08. Holderman returned, as we mentioned before. He earned the loss here. Didn't even get an out. 2 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk. He gave up a home run to Teoscar Hernandez. Joey Wentz came in 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits, 1 earned run, and 2 walks. Gave up a Kike Hernandez home run. Chase Shugart pitched a third of an inning, no hits, 1.80 ERA. He's continued to look good. O'Neal Cruz, another leadoff home run, his 8th on the year. Went 2 for 4 this game. Had a 110.9 mile an hour single to right field too. The first 2 games he had like 4 or 5 balls hit over 100 miles an hour. I think they were all over 110 actually. So he stays hot. He had 2 RBIs. He's up to 267. Brian Hayes and Tommy Pham each went 2 for 3 with a double. 8 hits total, 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position, 8 left on base, 9 Ks. Didn't get it done with runners in scoring position this game.
No, Frazier had a bad throwing error.
Yep.
At second base. Ribello with a horrific send of Joey Bart.
Another one.
Third base. Just so bad. Just running into outs here. Also, I think this is of note. Mitch Keller really isn't missing bats this year. He is giving quality starts. This is the first time where we actually scored for him since April 1st. And it was on the first pitch of the game with the Cruz home run that you mentioned. But he has the 3rd worst whiff percentage on his 4-seam in all of Major League Baseball at 11.7%. So still he's not missing bats, but still pitching well enough to win.
He's a pitcher, man. He's a pitcher. He's strategic. He's pitched well enough to win in most of his starts this year.
Yeah, almost all of them, to be honest. Almost all of them. And then Sunday really was just a blowout. 2-9 L. Falter took the mound, 4 1/3, 8 hits, 7 run, 5 earned, 2 walks, 2 Ks, 1 home run. The 4-seam was down a tick today, Scott. Non-competitive fastballs at the top of the zone is the headline for me. When Falter is on, it's the extension. The fastball plays up at 92 to 94, but these were not competitive. When I say not competitive, they were way out of the zone. Only 8% out of the zone swing on the 4-seam, 100% zone contact on all of the pitches. Every single pitch had 100% zone contact. So he's missing middle. The 8% out of the zone swing percentage on the 4-seam shows that it's not even close to clipping the top of the zone where he's most successful at. So wasn't good. I know he's coming off the lower back tightness, but 2 back-to-back if he starts for Falter. Kyle Nicholas, 1 1/3, 4 hits, 2 earned, 3 walks, 1 home run. Shugart had an inning. Holderman went today again, 1 1/3, 1 hit. The offense, pretty much first inning, was the highlight. Back-to-back home runs with Kutch, who's 2 away.
It's only runs of the game.
Yeah, only runs of the game. Kutch is 2 home runs away from tying Roberto Clemente on the all-time Pirates leader list. Manny Valdez went deep, continues to hit the ball hard. Glasnow, as I mentioned earlier, was taken out after the first with right shoulder discomfort. Kutch 4 for 4 with an RBI. Hayes has an 8-game hit streak. The Frazier hit streak continues as a team. 12 Ks, 1 walk, 8 hits, 0 for 4 runners in scoring position, 6 left on base. Hayes had a fielding error, misplayed a in-betweener at third base, but the 0 for 4 runners in scoring position with the 2 home runs is really the highlight because you got off to a hot start and then nothing happened after that.
Before we take a break and talk about the series ahead, I want to take a second. I don't want to harp on a guy that's like probably not our biggest problem right now, but Brian Reynolds, something I've noticed. 645 OPS to start the year in the first month of the season. Need a lot more from him.
Yeah.
Need a lot more from Brian Reynolds going forward if we're going to contend or, compete, if you will, for the rest of the season. This is a guy that you signed to a long-term deal. He's supposed to be one of the leaders of the offense. You talk about the lack of slug. You talk about the lack of offense. I'd hope to see much more higher than a 645 OPS from one of your leading guys.
Yeah, it's still early. I think June, July is really
Yeah.
where you see the Reynolds outbreak every single year.
Absolutely.
He just goes on one. But I agree, man. Like if you're going to be a good team, you saw it from the Dodgers, which is, arguably the best team in baseball. They don't make mistakes, and when you do, they take advantage of it.
Winning
Every
all
single
margins.
time. Every single time. You also just have no breaks in that lineup whatsoever. And especially when Andy Pages is going 10 for 12 on an entire series, like you're really screwed. Because not only do you have to get through all of the perennial all-stars, then you got to pitch the most dangerous pitcher in a 3-game or hitter in a 3-game series in Pages. So just that's what a good team looks like. I know there's significant differences in the organizations and yada, 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 but kind of foresaw that coming, right? So one other thing I want to touch on before we take a quick break. I know we're about at the 30-minute mark here. When does Tommy Pham get the Rowdy Tellez treatment from the fans of Pittsburgh? Because the boos for Rowdy Tellez and the disdain for how bad he was at the plate were very present, right? And I know he had some streaks, and Sherrington always talked about the breakout was coming here and there. And I mentioned last week, Pham does have a role in this team because he is statistically our best defensive outfielder in left field, and we don't have many other options. But he's hitting 184 with an expected batting average of 208. So the 184 is pretty accurate. Okay. He's slugging 230. He has an OPS of 495. The one positive with Pham is he doesn't chase, but he's also striking out a ton.
Mm-hmm.
He's also, I didn't know this. In my head, I was like, he has to be in the top of the league into hitting into double plays. I looked it up. He's top 5. Okay. He's top 5 in the league in hitting into double plays. The Pirates as a team have grounded into the most double plays in all of baseball.
Believe that.
At 27. I'm not trying to like pile on the negative stuff. I know a lot of fans have opinions on Pham. Man, say that 10 times fast. But something I wanted to say is in the offseason, I think both of us were in agreement that we'd rather sacrifice some defensive play for a for sure guy at the plate who's going to have competitive at-bats, who's going to slug, which is why we wanted this team to go out and get a legitimate left fielder or just an outfielder generally. You got worse adding Tommy Pham to the lineup. I haven't looked at the side-by-sides. Was Rowdy worse than this? I think he at least was in 500 in the OPS. Like this is bad at the plate. And when he's hitting the ball hard, he's not hitting the ball hard. And when he gets these singles, it's like broken bat singles. It's loops over the shortstop or second base. It's frustrating to watch. Again, the defense has been very good, but something's got to change, man.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Rowdy really got the booing treatment like May last year. I feel like that's when it really started to kick in. So we're getting there. But
just put it out there. I'm not condoning that behavior. Like I don't want that to happen. I don't agree with booing players. I don't like it at all. But I'm just saying people were very frustrated with the performance of Rowdy Tellez, and this is arguably worse.
I think all of that aside, like this is the type of signing that you see in year 1 or 2 of a rebuild. A veteran guy that's probably over the hill, but can probably provide some type of veteran presence. Like the White Sox should have signed Tommy Pham. I know he's already played there, I believe, right?
Yeah, he's played everywhere.
He's played everywhere. But like, this is not a guy that the Pirates should have signed this offseason. Hindsight's 2020, whatever. But yeah, it's. I think you're going to start hearing it from fans. I think there are other options out there, maybe even internally, that we could utilize in left field. And if he's here for a full season, I think that means the Pirates had a really bad year.
Matt Gorski didn't really play much after.
He got one other or two
Angels,
at bats today.
Pinch
Two
hit
at bats today.
opportunities, yeah.
So, all right, I guess we'll maybe see him at home more, hopefully. But yeah, other than his debut, he had two pinch hit at bats today. Not two pinch hit, but he got brought in for Emmanuel Valdez, played some first base, got two at bats today. He's 1 for 6, but I'd love to see him get some more run.
Just give an opportunity
this week. Yeah, let's give him some opportunities. What do you have to lose? So, Adam, let's take a quick break real quick, and then we're going to come back and preview the Cubs series here at home.
Scott, the Cubs come into PNC Park this week for a divisional matchup. The Cubs 17-11 first in NL Central. I mentioned it earlier in this podcast. All of their games have been absolutely crazy.
And they're actually playing right now as we record their Sunday night baseball against the Phillies, Tyon versus Nola. So they could either be 18-11 or 17-12 by tomorrow.
They're a solid team. I mean, they're the best team in the Central right now. And you're going to get one of their best on Tuesday with left-handed pitcher Shota Imanaga versus Andrew Haney, potentially. 2024 for Shota was a great year. Rookie season, 15-3, 2.91 ERA, and 173 1/3 innings pitched. 29 games, 174 Ks with a 1.02 WHIP. Versus Pittsburgh, 1-0, 2 games, 0 ERA, 4 hits, 14 Ks, and 14 innings pitched. Second start was a combined no-no in September of last year. So pretty well against Pittsburgh. This year, he's 2-1 with a 3.18 ERA in 34 innings pitched in 6 games, 27 strikeouts with a 1.09 WHIP. Here's the arsenal. I'm going to throw a lot at you here. Heavy four-seam usage at 49%, sits around 91 to 92 miles per hour. Then he's got a split at 35%, sweeper, curve, change, slider, and sinker. So you're going to get a little bit of everything here. Known for his strategic pitching and command. The fastball, it's not going to overpower you, as I mentioned. Probably around 89 to 93. Has a lot of features, solid riding life, which enables it to induce swing and miss. The split is the primary off-speed pitch here. Sits low to mid-80s, which he uses to generate ground balls. It's going to be tough sledding anytime you face Shota. So already going to be an uphill battle on Tuesday. Who do we got Wednesday, Scott?
So Wednesday, we got Matthew Boyd for the Cubs. The Pirates' rotation for the week has not been announced, but as of right now, it would be Carmen Mlodzinski against Matthew Boyd. Matthew Boyd, man, talk about a resurgence in his career. 2024, 2-2, 2.72 ERA, and 39 2/3 innings pitched. 8 games started, 46 Ks, 113 WHIP. This is a guy that was signed by the Guardians last year in I believe June, mid-season. He signed a 2-year, $29 million free agent deal with the Cubs in the offseason after a solid start with the Guardians last year. 2-2, 2.54 ERA this year with 28 1/3 innings pitched, 5 games started, 10 Ks, 148 WHIP. This Boyd throws a four-seam, slider, change, curve, sinker. The four-seam he throws 45% of the time. He sits 92 to 94. The slider, he'll throw 22% of the time. In the low 80s, a change, he'll throw 21% of the time, from 78 to 80. And the curve and sinker, he'll mix in there below 10% of the time. He primarily relies on the fastball slider combo, but also uses a change and occasionally a curve or sinker. Effective when healthy. Injury concerns have limited his availability throughout his career. His fastball is a heavy sinking pitch with slight arm side run, and his slider is a slower sweeping pitch, particularly effective against right-handed hitters. He limits hard hits, barrels with command of a solid pitch mix. This is a classic back end starter. He's going to be a tough face.
Thursday, Colin Ray in his second stint with the Cubbies, also know him from the Brewers as well. 2024, 12-6, 4.29 ERA, and 167 2/3 innings pitched. 27 games total, 135 Ks, 1.26 WHIP with 1 save versus the Brewers. 2025, 1-0, 0.96 ERA, 18 and 2/3 innings pitched. 3 games, 19 Ks, 107 whip, 1 save. Signed a 1-year deal this offseason, $5 million for a free agent with the Cubs. The arsenal: 4-seam slider, sweeper, cutter, curve, sinker, split. Wow. 4-seam goes to 50% of the time, sits around 93 to 94. Slider, 10% of the time. And the rest of the secondaries are going to be around that percentage. Good, healthy mix here. Known for his command and ability to keep hitters off balance with the deep arsenal. In 2024, demonstrated impressive pitch sequencing, ranking in the 97th percentile for pitch type probability and 93rd percentile for surprise factor. This effectively means he varied his pitches, keeping hitters off balance, making it difficult for them to anticipate his next move. So talk about a bullpen guy who
You could
has
spot start.
Yeah. This is Carmen Majinski's dream right here.
I mean, this is the best case scenario for Carmen Majinski.
Yeah.
I think this is a guy who can actually go multiple times through the order. I mean, you see the 7 pitches he has here listed, but Colin Ray will be a tough phase, man. We saw him a lot last year with Milwaukee. This Cubs team is tough. They, especially offensively. I think the key to this series, it's really tough coming off this Dodgers series and going to Shota Imanaga as your first, opponent, especially how we did against him last year. But I think it's going to be getting to the bullpen. The bullpen is really bad with the Cubs. That's going to be their downfall this year. And I think you need to knock the starter out of the game. I think that's the main key. I know that sounds simple, but especially with this Cubs team, this is a division opponent. This is a team that you need to do well against, especially at home. If you want to compete, that's the key for this series.
Yeah, going to be tough off of Imanaga, who does not generates a lot of soft contact.
Yeah, definitely.
So Pirates have historically struggled against him, but we'll see. It's a new week of baseball, Scott. Before we move on and clean slate, let's go through our hitter and pitchers of the week. Hitter has to be O'Neal Cruz. It's fairly obvious. 9 for 27, 3 home runs in that leadoff role, 5 RBIs, and 2 stolen bases. He has been yet to be thrown out all year. I think we're on like 33 or the last 34 attempts where he hasn't been thrown out. So he's on one.
Yeah,
he looks good.
Absolutely. And then I think pitcher of the week is going to be Paul Skeens, right? You could go Andrew Heaney with his 24 whiffs against the Angels, but Paul Skeens 6 1/3, 5 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 9 Ks, 2.39 ERA. He had 108 pitches thrown in that game against the Dodgers. They brought him out for the 7th inning off of 103 pitches, 18 whiffs. I mean, he's just looked every bit of an ace this year for the Pirates. One of the best pitchers we've seen in a Pirates uniform, at least in my lifetime. And he's a joy to watch every single time. But yeah, this is our pitcher of the week.
It's against the Dodgers. It had to be him.
Yeah.
Like what Haney did was unreal, but anytime you go out and put this lineup against the Los Angeles Dodgers, it's got to be you. So, new week of baseball. We will be back at the park this week for the Cubs series and then on the weekend series against the Padres. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel at Bucco Bantr. Like, share, leave a comment, share with a friend. Go like all of our social media posts. Pretty much putting out a video or something every single day. By the time this releases, the vlog for the Guardian series will be out. Nice short 7 to 10 minute vlog to get your work morning started. And then I'll have a couple more opportunities to plug it throughout the week, but put Saturday morning on your schedule to go down to the Strip, do some shopping around, get a coffee at Allegheny Coffee and Tea, and come join us on the live podcast and ask your Pirates questions. You'll get a free coffee.
Come join us, but also join us at the game afterwards. I think it'll be a good start to the day, and then head to PNC Park on the North Shore after you get your coffee and do your shopping in the Strip. I think it's a perfect Saturday morning. But yeah, man, I'm excited for this week. I'm excited to be back at the ballpark. Until then, man, let's raise it.
Best seats at the Pirates game, they let me run the base. Yeah, my time is like my money, cause I can't afford to waste. Wifey is a lawyer, take my date to my dates, or the steak by the plates and